everybody, it's Lisa Birmingham and I am so glad that you're here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to take some Dollar Tree eggs and turn them into some beautiful pieces of spring home decor. First off, we're going to be creating a vase out of an egg, a candy cup, and a place card holder out of some medium-sized plastic eggs from the Dollar Tree. I opened up the eggs and separated them by pulling them apart. I took the first half of the egg and laid it open side down on the table. I put a dollop of hot glue in the center of the top and then placed the second half of the egg on top. I held it in place until the glue was dry. I repeated the process with the 3 different colored eggs. Once my eggs were formed, I decided to wrap them in a variety of different kinds of materials. The first one that I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it in this jute cord that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'll start at the bottom. I got my jute cord and a little bit of hot glue, and I placed a line of hot glue around the bottom rim of the egg and placed the jute cord on top and began to swirl the cord around the egg, hot gluing as I went. I made sure the lines of jute cord were right next to each other so there were no gaps where you could see the underlying egg. Once I got to the top, I added a line of glue and then I pressed it firmly in place and then snipped off the excess cord. To wrap my second egg, I'm going to use this Raffia. Again, it's from the Dollar Tree. It comes in a package of 3. I've already used a few, so I'm getting low on Raffia. I'm gonna have to head back soon. But I'm gonna do it the exact same way that I did the first egg. I'm gonna get a line of hot glue. I'm going to place the Raffia right in the hot glue. I'm going to continue to hot glue and wrap, keeping the lines really close together so that you can't see the underlying egg. I'll do it until I get to the very top, snip off the excess, and then hot glue it all in place and press it firmly together. And finally, I'm going to be using this yarn. I've used this yarn previously when I wrapped some styrofoam carrots in it. They turned out so cute. I will leave a link to that in the description box below so you can check that out. But again, I just repeated the process. I hot glued and I twirled the yarn around the egg form until I got to the top, and then I just hot glued it all together. And now I have my 3 different varieties of egg stands. Now to the inside of my little egg cups, I'm going to add a variety of different things. The first one is going to be a carnation. I got this bunch at Walmart for 97 cents. I got a pair of snips and I cut a little stem off of the bunch of flowers. I took that one carnation and I placed it right inside of my cup. Look how cute this thing is. I chose the Raffia. It's got that cute little carnation inside and it just is a little vase. I love it. My second one, I'm going to do some jelly beans. So I just filled up my little yarn one with some Starburst jelly beans because in my opinion those are the best. So you could add some Cadbury eggs or some chocolate, whatever kind of candy is your favorite, add to this cute little cup. You could give these to guests as they came by, to some friends for Easter. You could even put these at each place setting when you were having an Easter dinner. Speaking of place settings, my final one is the Raffia one, and I put a little bit of dried grass inside of the egg cup, and then I placed a white speckled egg in it, and then I just got a strip of paper with my name on it and placed it right in front of the egg. How cute would this be as a place card holder right in the center of a plate? And again, these were so affordable to make. The only money that I spent was on the eggs, and I ended up only using 3 of them, so I have 3 extra eggs for another project. I had the twine, I had the Raffia, I did buy the jute. So this project only cost me $2, which in my opinion is a great bargain. My second project is this Mod Podge egg. Can you see that? Oh my goodness, I love this thing. And I did it with another one of those Dollar Tree plastic eggs. However, this egg was a little bit larger. It didn't come in a pack. It was an individual egg, so The only money that I spent on this was $1 on that egg. What I did was I found some paper that I already had, just some scrapbook paper, and I cut it into some strips, about 1/3 inch wide. The reason why I'm cutting it into thinner strips is because it will lay nicer on my egg, because my egg curves. If the pieces were thicker, they would kind of bunch up and wrinkle on the edges, so the thinner pieces are better to work with. And then I got my Mod Podge out. I also got a sponge brush, and I liberally added all of this Mod Podge to the surface of the entire egg. Now, this is a messy process. There's no other way to get around it. Your fingers are gonna get glue on them. You just have to embrace the mess. And the good thing about Mod Podge is that it comes off with soap and water, so it's okay, but it's gonna be messy. So once I was finished getting Mod Podge all over the egg, I got my strips of paper. I started at the bottom, that's where I placed the end of the paper, and I wrapped it up over the top to the other side. I continued to put the strips of paper on the bottom, wrap it over, wrap it over, until I had all of my egg completely covered in the paper. Now, one thing about this particular egg is that my strips of paper did not reach all the way around to the other side, so I did have a vacant space on the back side. No problem. What I did was I took the strips of paper that were remaining and I trimmed little pieces off, so I had some shorter pieces, and then I just Mod Podged those into that vacant space. Now, I let my Mod Podge dry for about an hour before I added the top layer. Again, I just got my sponge brush out and I completely covered the top in the Mod Podge. And then I let it dry, which for me was about 8 hours. Once it was completely dry, it was time to embellish it. Now, I decided to use on my egg a thicker kind of satin ribbon that was gonna go all around the center of it. On top of that, I added this kind of robin's blue egg chevron ribbon. I placed that right into the center. Again, I'm just hot gluing this stuff just directly to the egg. And then I'm also using some more of that raffia, and I wrapped that around, and then I tied everything into a bow. Once it was in a bow, I got my little raffia pieces, and I kind of wanted to make them a little more whimsical as opposed to just one straight little piece. So I just tore them. These things tear so easy. So I tore them and I got these cute little strips, just these little pieces. And then I pulled another one of these carnation flowers off the stem of my bunch of flowers, and I hot glued that right into the center of the bow. If this is the first time that you're visiting my channel, welcome. I'm Lisa. I do DIYs and home decor on my channel. I post weekly videos. I would love to have you join me, so please subscribe. My third egg design are these ornaments that I got from the Dollar Tree. They're wood ornaments. They came in a package of 6. And the way I'm going to spruce these up is by adding a pale piece of pastel green scrapbook paper to the top of them. I took my egg and I placed it on top of the scrapbook paper. I got a pencil and I traced around the egg, and I got the exact size I needed, and then I cut out the egg shape. We're going to adhere the paper to the wooden egg with Mod Podge again. I love this stuff. I think it's just magical. And I got my sponge brush. I put the Mod Podge directly on top of the wooden egg. Again, be generous with the Mod Podge because you don't want to skimp. You want to adhere to the egg really, really well. So I put the Mod Podge down on top of the wooden egg, and then I carefully lined up my piece of paper that I had cut out and I placed it on top. I got my kitchen scraper and I pushed out any bubbles and made it really smooth onto the egg. I painted on a top layer of Mod Podge by generously coating the entire top side of the egg using a sponge brush. Once it was fully covered, I let the eggs dry for several hours. To embellish these eggs, I'm going to place a wide burlap and lace ribbon around the center of the eggs. I got some hot glue and I put a line of hot glue onto the egg, and I placed the ribbon right in the center, wrapped it around to the back, and hot glued it all together. And then to the center of this ribbon, I'm adding some more of those pastel chevron ribbons. I have different colors. I've got a lovely blue, a cream, and a pink chevron ribbon. I'm going to place that right into the center. I'm going to hot glue it all together. And then to finish off the look, I'm going to add a small hydrangea flower, and I'm just gonna hot glue that on there, and that's gonna tie it all together. Now that my eggs are finished, I'm going to add this thin ribbon to the hole. I used a wooden skewer to poke a hole into the paper and through the existing hole in the wood ornament. This provided easy access for my ribbon. I just threaded it through the center and I tied a knot on the top to tie it together, make sure that it was really secure. And then I borrowed this beautiful arrangement that I did last week. I stole it from my foyer. So if you want to see the rest of my foyer decor, I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. But I thought it would be fun to add these little egg ornaments to my dogwood branches. So I just placed them in random spots around the arrangement. And I think it adds just another extra little bit of spring. Now these little eggs were less expensive than the other ones because the only thing that I bought were the wooden eggs. I had everything else. So I think everything that I made ended up looking really pretty and classy. You would never know how inexpensive they all were because they really do look high-end. Just goes to show you don't need to spend a lot of money to get a high-end look. I really hope that you enjoyed these spring home decor ideas. I hope you got some inspiration so that you feel like that you can make your own decorations for spring. I really appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much for watching.